The Justice Department has rested its case in the seditious conspiracy trial against Oath Keepers founder Stewart Rhodes and 4 of his associates.
The trial now turns to the defense. Prosecutors have spent nearly 5 weeks arguing Rhodes and his fellow Oath Keepers were plotting to stop the peaceful transfer of presidential power after the 2020 election. CBS News Congressional Correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now to kind of discuss what's happened so far and what takes place next. Scott, always great to have you here. How has the Justice Department argued its side of the case up until now?
Let's be clear. They argued it at length. This trial began 1 month ago today, and they've just now rested the prosecution. To be clear, this case is by orders of magnitude more severe and different than the hundreds of other January 6 cases, because this group of accused seditious conspirators allegedly raised arms, raised money, and raised this plan ahead of January 6 to attack the U.S. Capitol. The 5 defendants include the founder of the Oath Keepers, Stewart Rhodes. And according to the evidence that was laid out in painstaking detail and at painstaking length so far in this trial, Rhodes was sending messages indicating he was planning to attack the Capitol. This was no organic thing, that he was mobilizing a unit and seeking the former president's assistance to invoke the Insurrection Act to therefore justify and underwrite what they were planning to do, which was to block the peaceful transfer of power, attack the U.S. Congress, and potentially seize control of the U.S. government. Wow. They've all pleaded not guilty. The defense starts today. It might go a month as well.
When that relationship between the White House and the Oath Keepers, that's at the very core of the defense for Stewart Rhodes. And his lawyers are planning on really making former President Trump a key aspect of their case. Tell us more about that. And do you think it'll be successful?
That is one of the distinctive parts of this case, is this nexus between Stewart Rhodes and efforts to try to communicate with Donald Trump. He actually wrote an open letter, according to prosecutors, to the former president before the end of the presidency, saying, if you invoke the Insurrection Act, you can stop the destruction of America. And in that open letter, trying to invoke the former president or galvanize him to invoke the Insurrection Act and give passage to this group of military veterans and trained fighters to be armed and serve as an extension of the Trump administration. That's a distinctive component here. How does the defense lean into that? We're about to find out. But they have made this provocative prediction that Stewart Rhodes himself, the founder of the Oath Keepers, might testify at this trial, potentially as early as Monday or on Election Day. January 6 defendants who've testified on their own behalf, few and far between. Certainly none as seriously charged as Stewart Rhodes. He's a provocative figure anyhow. Him on the stand could be grand theater. It also could imperil his defense.
Well, I want to unpack that slightly. I'm not sure how much of your hair fell out when you found out he would be testifying on the day before midterm elections.
A lot of it did. Thank you for asking. A lot.
So just to let our viewers understand, this takes a personal toll on all of us. But the defense wants Stewart Rhodes to take the stand. For what reason? What would that gain for him?
Really good question. It's possible Stewart Rhodes wants to take the stand more than his defense would like him to do so. Stewart Rhodes cuts a very high profile. He is a polarizing figure. He is a figure who likes to be seen and in the limelight. This would give him quite a platform to say what he wants to say, to argue what he wants to argue. But the judge in this case, the federal judge today, indicated that it's rare for a defendant to take the stand at trial in his courtroom and that it often doesn't go well.
But he's a trained attorney. That also makes, I think, makes it slightly different from other January 6 defendants. And he is well educated. He has experience in politics. He has experience in the law. And so him deciding to take the stand certainly could be a calculated part of what he wants to do, right?
He's a Harvard law grad and used to be a congressional staffer. Spot on, Lana. And I'll tell you this from being in the courtroom watching him seem to be an active member of his own defense, frequently jotting down notes, handing them to his attorneys in pre-trial hearings and during the trial. Not just a spectator, but seems to be a participant. We will see if that's for the good or for the bad in his defense as this trial continues into next week.
Fascinating.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.